make sure that there's no issues or... Oh, hello. Welcome to the SSN Luxury Cruise Liner. How can I help you? Oh, just checking into your room for the evening. Excellent. Did you pay at the... Okay, so you paid at the clerk at the dock. All right, perfect. So that means you have a confirmation code, don't you? That's what I like to hear. Well, I will need to get a bit of information from you to get you registered with the correct room, if that's okay. All right, perfect. I do apologize ahead of time for any delays in your enjoyment that this might cause. It's unfortunately a necessary formality. So let's go ahead and get started with your registration. No, there's no need for any physical ticket, voucher, or anything like that. It's all computerized these days, so it should make it just a bit quicker if that's at all possible. So just bear with me. What is your first name? All right. Perfect. And last? Excellent. And what is the last four of your trainer ID? Thank you. All right, and there it is. And can you give the confirmation pin that you were given when you purchased your ticket at the dock below? Thank you so much. And was that a 0? Okay. All right, and it looks like we have you registered. You have a standard room, one guest, and it looks like you will be checking in, or I guess registering 5 Pokemon on your person. Is that correct? All right, perfect. I will just confirm that. 5 Pokemon on board. We'll go over the rules and regulations for Pokemon on board in just a moment. All right. The last thing that we need to do is just to get a quick facial scan there, if that's possible, just to make sure that we do indeed have the right person and there's not some sort of Team Rocket disguise or pesky things like that. We wouldn't be running these security measures if we hadn't learned the hard way. So just please try to hold still, and I'll just be bringing the camera ever so slightly and just a bit close. All right, you might hear or feel just slight sensations around the neck or head area, but that's perfectly normal, I assure you. Are you ready? All right, just try to hold still, and let's begin. This shouldn't take too long. Let's bring it around this side. Right, and this side here. I just try to make sure that I get a thorough scan. That way there are no do-overs. Once again, I apologize. Alright, let me just check to make sure that there were no issues with the scan. Looks good. Alright, it looks like your information has matched the facial recognition software, so it looks like we have the right person in the right place. Thank you so much, and once again, I do wholeheartedly apologize for the inconvenience. I assure you it's not something that we look forward to doing, but we like to offer the utmost security and safety for our guests like yourself. So let's go ahead and continue with the security measures. We will need to physically see all of the Pokeballs that you are bringing that are housing live Pokemon. We have to make sure that we register all of the Pokemon that you're bringing on board, as well as perform a bag and item check, if that's all right. Yes, I know, it's just a bit overboard, no pun intended, but we have had some recent upticks in Team Rocket activity in the area, and due to a previous incident years ago with a catastrophe caused by Team Rocket on this very ship that resulted, unfortunately, in the losing of at least 5 passengers on board that evening, we have always made sure that we pride ourselves in sparing no expense in security. You understand? Alright, well, let's go ahead and check those Pokemon that you will be bringing on board. Alright, I'll just take one Pokeball at a time if that's alright. Thank you. And we have, alright, one Marsh Stomp. Okay, looks to be a standard Pokeball. I'll just briefly run over a quick physical examination to make sure there are no hidden switches or things that look out of place. Of course, most crimes are committed via Pokemon, and most Pokemon are brought onto the ship via Pokeball, so that's why these measures have become standard practice. Alright, this was your starter Pokemon. That's awesome. Congratulations, it sounds like you've raised it quite well if it's already a Marsh Stomp. Alright, that Pokemon looks good. I'll just place it back there, and I'll take the next one. Alright, thank you. And we have, okay, the shelter. Of course, all of this information is logged in your confirmation sheet, but like I said, I do need to visually confirm that the Pokemon are indeed on board. Alright, looks to be fairly standard. Okay. I don't see anything that raises any suspicion, but you can't be too careful. Alright, that looks perfect, and I'll take that next ball if that's okay. Thank you. And Duskull. Okay, so one Duskull brought on board. Let's make sure we get a good look. The underside of the Pokeball. The seam looks ordinary. A lot of times that's where the hidden switches that reveal hidden compartments or items that are considered contraband are located. Looks alright. Alright, that checks out. One Duskull on board, and of course I'll confirm all this afterwards. And the next Pokeball. Alright, thank you, and we have a Tinkatuff, alright, in a nice Premier Ball at that, so a nice change of pace from the ordinary Pokeball. These Premier Balls are oftentimes a lot easier to spot those hidden switches and compartments since the stripe and the seam of the top and bottom portion of the ball is red instead of black, which the black conceals a lot better than the bright red. So let's check that button out. Make sure that it's functioning as a ordinary Premier Ball should. Make sure that seam is secure. Normally, like I said, I am so sorry about the extra security measures. Like I said, if it wasn't for that pesky Team Rocket, none of this would be necessary. Alright, and that looks good. And your 5th Pokeball, please. Thank you. Ah, a luxury ball. Must be a very special specimen to be granted such a wonderful ball. Ah, the Toxel. Of course, I did see that in your booking there. Well, these luxury balls oftentimes do require a bit of additional checking because, believe it or not, a lot of criminal masterminds and people who are looking to exploit via ill intentions oftentimes really pride themselves on expensive and luxury items. I think it's because they steal most of them, but for that reason we have to make sure that we really check luxury balls extra carefully. So I'll just check that seam first. Just kind of run my fingernails across the seam. Usually they will catch on any of those hidden switches or buttons. Alright, perfect. We'll just test that button. Usually a false button will click and make some, kind of easily compressed sounds, which a standard button should be solid to the touch unless you are activating it to release the Pokemon, that is. Alright, let's just make sure that we don't have anything that stands up as it, or I guess out of the ordinary, out of place. I don't feel anything. Sometimes just running your hands along the exterior can just reveal anything that's abrasive, and those are oftentimes hidden switches. Alright, this looks like a standard luxury ball holding a standard Pokemon. So let me go ahead and just get that confirmed. So we have 5 Pokemon checked on board on person. They will be housed in the cabin, of course, and confirmed. There we are. Alright. And next, once again, I am so sorry, but I'm going to have to do a quick search of the bag and items that you will be carrying with you. Of course, if they are checked in the luggage, it's no need. They are checked upon deposit in the luggage compartment, but if I do see your bag there, I'm going to need to check it. You understand? I'm so sorry once again. Alright, thank you. Thank you so much. Wow, filled to the brim, I see. This looks like quite the hefty pack to carry with you on a day-to-day basis, but if you are an adept adventurer like you look to be, I guess this fits the mold. Alright, well, I will just simply check the items that you are carrying on with you. I'll try to make this as quick as possible. Now, since I can assume that I've already checked your confirmed Pokemon, that these are empty. Alright, perfect. Well, that will make it a lot quicker, but I will just try to be as quick as possible and take care to not damage or overhandle any of your items here. Seems like the bag is in fairly good shape. Let me just make sure that there's no issues or anything that feels like it might be a danger to me before I open it. Usually sharp or right. Well, I will go ahead and set it down ever so slightly and carefully. All right, so it looks like we do have a lure ball looking to capture some Pokemon of the water variety during your time here at the, well, rather gloomy sunken port. I'm glad that we only dock here every so often because, I'll just be honest, it kind of gives me the creeps, but the lure ball will be wonderful for most of our stops because, well, believe it or not, all of our stops are at a port. So this might just come in handy, you never know. And if you need some water Pokemon, which you never know, I know you did actually say you do have a Marshtomp, but I'm sure that's probably your only water Pokemon. Most people don't carry more than one, so you may just have room in your party for another. So a standard lure ball, nothing out of the ordinary. An additional Pokeball, perfect for catching that simple Pokemon. Excellent. Okay, so we do have a specialty quick ball here, similar to that lure ball, good for catching just a little bit of special Pokemon. I'll pick this up on your journey so far. Perfect. All right, nothing wrong with that. And let's see what else we have here. All right, we have a nice bug catching net, it looks like. I will just have to make sure that these sounds here are not out of the ordinary. Sometimes, believe it or not, people try to utilize the telescoping nature of these handles, and they, since the telescope is indeed hollow, they will keep it collapsed and try to slip in either dangerous substances or hidden messages to crime organizations within the handle. So sometimes just with some nice tapping, you can hear if there's anything inside. So just bear with me. Once again, I'm so sorry about this, but I do like to be thorough. Alright, let's go ahead and recollapse that. Okay, everything seems to be fairly standard. Alright, we do have just the traditional net filament, it sounds like. Sometimes, once again, believe it or not, people will try to replace the, let me just listen to that real quick. They'll try to replace the traditional netting with something that looks like a net. It's actually made up of a banned substance. So, the sound difference can be delicate, to say the least, so just please bear with me. Allow me a quick listen. It sounds usual, but that's sometimes when they surprise you the most. Once again, I am so sorry. Alright, well, seems to be an ordinary bug catching net. Great for Fern Island, which is our next destination, and it looks like in your confirmation that is your stop, so perhaps you can put it to good use. Let's see what else we have here. To go along with a bug catching net, we have the housing apparatus for said bugs. A standard bug catching cage of sort, a temporary housing. I of course would not condone keeping a bug type Pokemon in this enclosure for a long period of time. This is really just to maybe get it to a Pokemon Center or take it into a location in which it could be in danger if it was out of its Pokeball, or maybe you are helping treat an injured bug type Pokemon and just need to release it back into the wild. This would be perfect. Or maybe you capture one with your net and don't have a Pokeball with you just yet, and you can take this back with you to retrieve your Pokeball for the capture. Once again, it's all about the sounds. These sounds will give you an idea if contraband or any dangerous Team Rocket-esque items are enclosed. And yes, as strange as it sounds, even areas like this can be used to hide the Team Rocket treachery. Similar to the netting filament on your bug catching net, this type of wire mesh can often be substituted for, say, poisonous Ariados webbing and things like that can really be nasty if put in the wrong hands. So we always test the sounds. But that sounds fairly well. Let's just get a couple of quick taps to confirm. I like to compare similar areas on an item to make sure that they sound as they should. So there you have that side, that side, that side, that side, that side, that side, that side. Alright, well, a perfectly legal and acceptable bug housing there. Excellent. And what's this? I should have known. A Pokemon League badge case. I'll just quickly pop this open. Oh, congratulations. You look to have 3 nice badges there. Are these all from the ASMR&R League? I know the region in which we find ourselves now is the ASMR&R region, so they are. Excellent. Well, congratulations. 3 badges is nothing to take lightly or take for granted, so I won't spend too much time on that item. Believe it or not, a lot of criminals do not take part in the grueling and very time-consuming League Challenge, if you can believe such a thing. Alright, so it looks like we only have a few items left. Okay, what is this? Oh, okay, it looks to be a Reaper Cloth. Excellent. Fairly rare. I'd be very keen to know where you picked that up, but none of my business. And last but not least, we have what looks to be a fossil. Yes, fossil of some sort. Can I assume that's why you're going to Fern Island, the Pokemon fossil lab there? Alright, well, now it's starting to make sense, so I'll be very careful and put that back in your bag. Alright, well, I will go ahead and confirm that all of your items are checked. Your bag security check is complete, and all of your items are perfectly allowable on board the SSN. So, I will go ahead and place your items back in your bag here, starting with your Reaper cloth. I don't know if you know it actually, well, I'm sure you'll figure that out, but your bug catching housing apparatus, let's go ahead and just slip that in there. Your bag, or your badge case rather, your net. We will just slip that there nice and safely. We have your traditional Pokeball, your quick ball added back to the bag, and your lure ball, last but not least. So let's go ahead and get that placed back in. Once again, I do not know how you carry this around without spilling it from time to time, so thank you so much for boarding the SSN. I'll go ahead and give this back to you there. Perfect. And I can wholeheartedly suggest that you check out the trading late night dinner that will be starting shortly. So once you get settled in your room, I would go ahead and head down to the dining hall. It's a really fun experience for all of our guests. So with that said, please enjoy your room and don't hesitate to let me know if you need anything. Alright, once again, sorry about wasting so much of your time, and please enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care.